Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. It's me and Dhana here sitting, and we got another doozy of a topic for you guys. Last week, we progressed further into the depths of Dr. Reddy, and Dhana, I'm sure, has done some more research and he's come back some more information. As it stands, you guys are very lucky because Dr. Reddy has been in consideration for quite a long time. Since the stock split happened, that's a price correction that happened. And a lot of people who had bought it in anticipation of the stock split and making in that arbitrage have all exited their positions, and the prices settled down nicely. And it's in great position for consideration, especially when you consider the size of Dr. Reddy and you see the competition around it, so called in the sector, all the other companies where they're sitting on price to earnings and where Dr. Reddy is sitting price to earnings. Sitting pretty and looking very nice. So I hope a lot of you are taking that into consideration and not getting too carried away with the price sticking to the value. And to explain why it is still in value and why it is something you should definitely keep in your radar, Dhana has got some further information about the Reddy debt management.
Past week, we completed the patent dedication, that regulatory warnings, how they were implemented.
Yeah, and there's a person who actually worked with Dr. Reddy and who came to our YouTube and passed a comment telling us, no, actually they've changed the policy now.
Yes, CGMP policy was now changed into.
Yeah, so thanks guys. I mean, me and Dhana always read the comments, and especially if there's some opportunity to learn, we would love to learn. And thanks to that user to highlight this to us, and it was very useful.
Yeah, sir. Now the debt management. So I have the 10 points, sir, with relative to the common man understanding. So first we need to understand the Dr. Reddy not taken too much of debt. So their debt to equity ratio around 0.14 and 0.20, almost 20, their maximum level. So they are not excess the amount of the leverage that they can be spent in the debt. So they are it's still in the level.
That is some great news to hear, because any manufacturing industry is very cash intensive. Intensive means it needs a lot of cash, especially working capital. Then buying goods, raw materials. So all that requires, and then of course capital expenses, upgrading the machines, upgrading the factories. In case of Dr. Reddy, buying the patents, buying the rights to make those generic drugs requires a lot of cash, and the company's been there for such a long time. So they've been very prudent and very smart about managing their money, such that they did not have to borrow very heavily, which is good news. So what have you found so far?
Yeah, sir. First, this is the overall. Now why they're taking the loan.
So, the loans they did take. Yeah.
Now we are taking a home loan because we borrow the money to buy a house. So which increase our wealth, and the EMI that we are spending on the house loan, how it was benefit to owning the house. Like that same, the Dr. Reddy also borrowing the money, like building factories, buying other companies, creating new medicines. So this investment helps the company to grow more and earn more money in the long run. So they are not focusing on the short term. For the example, in 2006, Dr. Reddy borrowed money to buy one company that called Beta Farm. That was a German company. So it's like why they are taking the loan. First part. And the second thing, how they repay the loans. How someone uses their salary to pay monthly EMI. Dr. Reddy also uses the same method. How the profits coming from the selling medicines. So that profits they are using as a repayment. Very good. It's like a EMI payment. So they are
being very responsible.
Yeah, sir. This is a main important part. If the extra cash or money, the profits they make, they pay off the loans yearly to save on interest. How we are paying the interest on the home loan.
So close the loan sooner.
So very the good. Same thing they are also following. Like if for the example in 2010 to 2015, they are having the huge amount of profits from the selling the medicines in the market like Russia and Brazil mainly. So they are paying off the loan as sooner. Now the third thing, keeping loan manageable. So Dr. Reddy avoid borrowing too much of loan. Like just how our family taking too much of loan to that we cannot repay the loan. So they are calculated their earnings and profits. How much they have the loans, they are calculated very wisely. So this was the third thing. And the fourth thing was refinancing smartly. So this was the fourth thing. Like how we have the credit card with the lower interest rate. Some people are using credit cards is as a useful thing, as a financially. So they are also following the same method. Dr. Reddy also having the interest rate, so they drop the interest rate by refinancing, like repay the old loans and with the cheaper ones. With that we are circulating ourselves and cycling the loans. So they are also fast.
I'm glad to hear this, because like we were talking in the Tamil channel, we spoke about Lucky Bhaskar, like how people feel the pressure of the family and use that as an excuse and go crazy and do all kinds of risks and borrowing money. Companies also do this. Famous company which does this is Vedanta. Yeah, they also borrow up and down the alley. He gives all kinds of reasoning, strategic buying, future investing, all kinds of things. If you see the history from this since the beginning, all the kind of money they have borrowed. So if you see that, he gives all kinds of reasoning to do this. And even the Tatas, famously, Ratan Tata made them fumbled when he bought in Chorus Steel, in Tata Steel. Yeah. And that whole lesson he learned from that was never to repeat it again. Some people learn. Even big, smart people make mistakes. But tendency, like how human beings like to borrow more than they need because they get carried away with dreams and aspirations, like a generation does, trading. Borrow and I'll flip it, and I'll put 20,000 and make 2,000 rupees every day. Within 1 month, even if I put loss so many, they'll do some kind of Gandhi calculation, which is very fun, which is bewildering to me because everything is an assumption. Nothing is sure. If you can assume things like that, I will assume I'm going to become Warren Buffett also. That they laugh at. But somehow assuming that 20,000 rupees you take now, by every month you'll use 20,000 rupees alone and make another additional 5,000, 6,000 rupees, they'll justify it. So companies also do this. I'm glad to hear Dr. Reddy's management and Dr. Reddy's family have been cautious in all this kind of thing and not allowed to get carried away and rather build slowly, brick by brick. Everything about them sounds so far so good. Did you see anything which made you a little concerned in loan?
No, sir. They are taking the minimal amount of loan. What are the amount they can easily manageable by the profits? So they are taking that much of loan. They are not excess the amount of borrowing.
Okay, so they've been very good and disciplined about it.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, very good.
And the fifth point, the impact of the product recalls. So recalls like we are needing to repair a car suddenly. So we need to cover the unexpected costs. So the Dr. Reddy also follow the same method. Dr. Reddy sets aside money for such emergencies, so it does not affect their daily business. So in example, in 2021 they recalled some medicine, but they already planned for such events, so it did not hurt their profits much. So this was one thing. And the next one was how borrowing helps innovation. So borrowing also funds research. So like a student taking a education loan to earn a degree, so they are also, Dr. Reddy also borrowing money to develop new drugs which later earn them big profit. So by example, in 2015 a part of the loans funded by the R&D leading to new cancer drugs and boosting the biosimilars, boosting the revenue. So this was one part. And another thing is capital allocation discipline. This is like deciding how to spend our paycheck. So Dr. Reddy carefully chooses where to invest borrowed money, ensuring that every rupee delivers return. So why it matters means over investing in risky projects, under investing in critical areas can strain finances. So this also they're following. And another thing was hedging against the currency risk. So what it means many loans and revenues are coming from the foreign currencies, so especially USD and EUR, that Russia currency. So US and America, they are having the foreign currencies. So currency fluctuation can make paying off debts more expensive. Correct. So how they handle it? By using financial tools like hedging contracts to lock in the exchange rates, Dr. Reddy protects itself from adverse currency movements. So example, borrowing from the beta from the German company acquisition were in the euros. So to manage the currency risks, the company likely hedge its exposure to avoid the extra repayment cost due to fluctuating the exchange rate. And another thing was focus on the free cash flow. So they are mainly focusing on the free cash flow. For the operational purpose also, the investment also, they are majorly focused on the free cash flow. So the high free cash flow means they can reduce the debt faster and invest in growth without relying on the new loan. So this was also the free cash flow for the company. It will help for them to do this.
Fabulous
answer. And the last one was risk diversification in the revenue stream. So what it means just like not relying on a single job for an income. So like so Dr. Reddy reduces risk by multiple sources of revenue, generic, specialty medicine and biosimilars across many countries. Why it matters? So a diversified revenue base cushions the company against regional economic slowdowns or drug specific patent issues, ensuring the steady cash flow for the debt saving. Example, revenue from the emerging markets like Russia and Brazil offset the challenges in the US during the patent expiration of the key drugs. So maintaining the company's financial health. So these all are the method they are following, sir. I have pointed out in yet 10 method.
This is great research you've done, Dhana. I'm very happy and very proud of you for diving into this deep. Not only understanding what is there, then understanding the implications of it and taking it apart and understanding the pros and cons of it and putting it together. Good job.
Can I read out the summary, sir?
Sure.
So first summary, capital allocations. For ourselves also we can input that. It is also helpful for us.
So capital personal management.
Personal finance management. Capital allocation. Spend borrowed money wisely to ensure the growth. Second one, currency hedging. Protect against the exchange rates changes when the loans are in in the foreign currency. Free cash flow focus. More left over the cash means easier debt repayment. And the revenue distribution. Multiple revenue resources reduce the financial risks and the ensure stability. Smart borrowing. Borrow only when it can help you grow. For that purpose only you need to borrow. And the sixth one was strong planning. Keep enough savings for the emergency. And the seventh one was pay yearly when possible. Extra income should reduce the debt faster. And the eighth one was balanced growth and safety. Don't over borrow. Focus on the long term success. So these all are the overall points.
Fabulous, man. I love this idea that like the companies Dr. Reddy borrows is only for some growth. Every capital allocated, even borrowed capital, is towards revenue generation and growth. It will do wonders to your generation. Each time you guys decide to borrow money, you should wonder what I'm borrowing. Is it creating more money? Is it creating revenue for me? Is it adding to my bottom line? If it's not adding, whatever I'm buying is not going to be adding that. There's no point buying. For example, if I buy a bike, I get a job. My job requires me to have a bike. Yes, go ahead and buy the bike because it's adding to revenue. But buying a more expensive phone than the phone which is in your budget is stupid because it's not adding revenue. So this kind of capital allocation, when you're analyzing it for Dr. Reddy and other companies, it is prudent to analyze it for yourself. And if you practice it for yourself, it will be much easier to pick companies which are also practicing.
Now only I understand the shareholding of free cash flow is important.
Yes.
Debt-free management is important. Now only I understand how the free cash flow working. How was the debt management and debt-free companies are working with the free cash flow. So now I understand.
I hope all of you were able to follow what Dhana said, and you can reach Dhana on his Instagram handle and ask him more questions about how he researched this, how he put this information together, and he'll be more than happy to share this with you over there. And do follow him and like him there, and do ask him questions regarding this. As far as Dr. Reddy is concerned, I think we have come to the complete evaluation of Dr. Reddy now. And now it is up to you as viewers, when Monday morning opens, to decide if you would like to consider it or not based on what we said. But I would strongly advise you not to take it into consideration based on what me and Dhana have been speaking for weeks about it. I would like you to feel inspired and think about reading about Dr. Reddy yourself. So really nice if now you take the opportunity to Google it, go to Dr. Reddy's website, go to investor relations, download the annual report for a few years, read it and just enjoy it and try to understand it like what Dhana did. It doesn't take too much time. Believe it or not, it really doesn't take too much time. Dhana is very busy. He's doing many things for us. He's not like sitting and doing this kind of research entirely. So many of you might be thinking, yeah, Dhana has a lot of free time. He's being paid just to do this. He's not. This is something he's doing purely as a hobby, and it's a side gig, meaning for his own self-improvement. He's not doing these podcasts because this is main work here. His main work here in our channel is something completely different. So this is purely for his own self-improvement he's doing it. As Anand saying, upskilling himself. Do understand that and keep that in mind and try and do this for yourself. All right. So have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful Saturday evening. Please be responsible as you enjoy your Saturday evenings. And me and Dhana will join you again tomorrow, Sunday morning, bright and early, where we'll have something more to talk about investing and maybe some personal finance. Thank you.
Thank you.